Today we're going to think about a very significant lady in the Bible who was part of Jesus's family tree. Her name was Ruth, and the name Ruth means a faithful friend. So we'll hear her story today. Today's object is a bundle of wheat. And here we are at the edge of a field of wheat. A few weeks ago, we would have seen many fields like this around Grimsby and Cleethorpes and the areas where we live. But not now, because all of these fields have been harvested. The wheat has been gathered in and stored on the farms, and it will be used to make many things. It will be sent to be turned into flour and used for things like bread and cakes and many other products. And today's event from the Bible happened at a harvest time. We're going to look at the story of Ruth in a slightly different way today. We're going to have a look at the story using some greetings cards. And we use cards for many different reasons, don't we? We celebrate birthdays with them and Christmas, but many other occasions too. And so we'll open these, and these will help us with the story. Let's begin with number 1. In this envelope, we have this card which says, "Sorry, you're leaving." Let's read inside what it says. To Naomi, Elimelech, Mahlon and Chilion, wishing you good fortune as you fly off into the big world of Moab from your friends in Bethlehem. So our story begins with a family. A lady called Naomi, her husband Elimelech, and their 2 grown-up sons called Mahlon and Chilion. And they lived originally in Bethlehem. But unfortunately they had to leave Bethlehem because there wasn't much food growing in that area. And so they decided to travel to a nearby country called Moab. And I'm sure all their friends and other family would be sad to see them go. So let's look at card number 2. Card 2 is a sympathy card. Something sad must have happened. Let's read it. To Naomi, caring thoughts are with you on the death of your husband from the people of Moab. Oh dear, the family have moved to a new land, but now Elimelech, the dad of the family, has died. Let's look at number 3. Oh, this is better news. On your wedding day. To Mahlon and Chilion, very best wishes for wonderful marriages. Congratulations on marrying Orpah and Ruth. So the 2 sons, Mahlon and Chilion, got married to 2 ladies who lived in Moab. Their names were Orpah and Ruth. Oh dear, another sad card, another sympathy card. This message comes with deepest sympathy, thinking of you, Ruth and Orpah, on the death of your husbands. So now, their 2 husbands, Mahlon and Chilion, have died. This is really sad, isn't it? All the men of the family have died, and now we've got Naomi, the mum, and Orpah and Ruth. Card 5. Sorry you're leaving. To Naomi and Ruth, wishing you all the best from your friends in Moab. Safe journey to Bethlehem. So what happened next was Naomi decided she was so sad. She didn't want to stay in Moab any longer. She wanted to go back home. And the other 2 daughters-in-law, Orpah and Ruth, said, "We'll come with you too." But Naomi said, "No, you shouldn't come back with me. You are young, you should stay here." And Orpah decided she would stay in Moab, where her family were. But Ruth said, "No, Naomi, I want to stay with you. I want to come to Bethlehem and help you and take care of you. Your people can become my people." And so Naomi and Ruth set off back to Bethlehem. The next card says, "Congratulations on your new home." To Naomi and Ruth, best wishes on your return to Bethlehem. So Naomi and Ruth arrived in Bethlehem and found somewhere to stay. And I'm sure the people were happy to see them, especially the people who remembered Naomi from a long while ago. Ooh, a new job. Well done. To Ruth, thank you for working hard in the fields to provide for us. From Naomi. Naomi would have been too old to get work, and in fact ladies didn't very often work outside of the homes in those days. So Ruth needed to get a job to help her mother-in-law Naomi. And Ruth was able to work in the fields. And it was harvest time in Bethlehem. And Ruth was able to gather up the wheat, the corn from round the edges of the field. They were allowed to do that in those days. If you were poor and you didn't have a job and much money, you were allowed to collect up the leftover bits. And so that's what Ruth did. Every day she would go out into the fields and gather corn to sell or to use to make into bread, so that she and Naomi could have things to live on. Oh, this is a really good card. Happy wedding day. To Ruth and Boaz, may this day be filled with love and laughter from all your friends and family. Well, this is really good news. While Ruth was working in the fields, she met the man who was the owner of the fields. And he was kind and they fell in love. And his name was Boaz. And so Ruth and Boaz got married. This was great news for Naomi, because now she would have people to help to take care of her too. Oh, even more exciting news. This card says, "It's a boy." To Ruth and Boaz, congratulations on the birth of baby Obed. Wow, Ruth and Boaz have had a baby, and his name was Obed. So that would be a grandchild for Naomi. And then lastly, card number 10. and this is a thank you card. Thanks and praise to God for all his blessings to us. From Naomi, Ruth, Boaz and Obed. And so we can see that the family were thankful to God, although many sad things had happened and difficult things too. They were really happy that God had always taken care of them. And the baby, Obed, would also be a part of Jesus' family. As Obed grew up, he would get married and have a family, and eventually somebody you might have heard of came from this family, and his name was David. We'll be thinking about him another time. I just want us to think about how faithful Ruth had been through all of this, that she trusted God and she wanted to do the best for her family.
Let's look at our Jesse tree. You'll remember that we've got the apple to remind us of Adam and Eve, and then the star for Abraham and the promise God gave, and then the knife for Isaac, and then the ladder which reminds us of Jacob and his dream. And last time we put on the 10 Commandments for Moses. Today we're going to add some wheat to remind us of the story of Ruth.
This Bible passage is really important. It reminds us of very many things. Ruth was a foreigner. She wasn't originally part of God's people or part of his family. She came from a different country with different ways of doing things. But this didn't mean that she couldn't be a part of God's big plan. Ruth was willing to take risks. She had to leave her family and her home in order to support her mother-in-law, Naomi. Ruth was a faithful friend. She worked hard and never gave up. And God gave her an important place in the story of his people. And we can learn from that too. God considers all of us important and valuable. It doesn't matter where we come from or what we're good at. We just need to think about others. We need to do what God wants us to do. And God welcomes us as part of his big family.